All right, the major storm is moving in as we are still dealing with the aftermath of our last storm. Sacramento Metro Fire just rescued this man who was stranded in Discovery Park. And we all know winds are picking up, likely to lead to more downed trees as crews are still clearing trees from roads and getting new power lines up. And hurricane hunters have arrived from Mississippi. These planes will fly into the storm to help us understand its impacts. Models show that winds could get up to 60 miles an hour just tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Alex Bell, and this is To The Point. We are continuing to bring you that coverage of the major storm moving into right here in Northern California. Power outages and flooding are expected. More loss of life is also possible. And we are breaking down everything that you need to know tonight. And just so you know at home, you can text the word storm just to that number at the bottom of your screen. We have a lot of information and resources that could really help you. But tonight I want to go ahead and start with Luke Cleary. He is out of South Sacramento County with some breaking news. And Luke, I mean, this is just tragic. Another death has been confirmed by the sheriff's office, we understand.
Yeah, that's right. Another death has been confirmed by the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. They say that a body has been found inside of a vehicle here. We're just north of Thornton on New Hope Road, just off of I-5 near the McCollum River. And moments ago, we watched as a Cosumnes Fire District search and rescue vehicle made its way over this bridge. You can probably see the lights there as they work to recover the vehicle. We do not have a lot of details in terms of identification at this point, but I can tell you that this comes just hours after this morning at around 11 o'clock. A second victim was found as well, an older woman, we understand, by CHP about 2,000 feet away from Highway 99 near Dillard Road, very close to where the first victim was found on Sunday, again, near Dillard Road on Highway 99. Officials there discovered that vehicle by helicopter, and they had to use a boat to get out there to recover the body. Now, of course, the waters have greatly receded in the days since that powerful New Year's Eve storm, but authorities don't expect there to be quite so much of the way of rain or flooding tonight. The real concern is going to be the winds, but I can tell you, we spoke earlier today with the Wilton fire chief, who described just a frantic scene on Saturday night. They got more than 20 calls of people that were stranded and needed rescue. Here's what he had to say.
Whether they were standing on top of their vehicles, waiting for us to get there to pull them off, or standing on a high ground and just not necessarily in their vehicle, but needing transported out of the water.
And so in just the last couple of moments since we have been on air with you, Alex, I can tell you we can hear the winds picking up, and there's a bit of rain starting to fall. Again, authorities not so concerned about the rain totals tonight as they are about those high winds, which can blow over trees and cause power outages. And again, with a third confirmed death in relation to that powerful storm, just a tragic reminder of how dangerous these conditions can be.
Oh, yeah, Luke. And I was down in Wilton today with the Wilton Fire Protection District, and that's their volunteer fire department. And we were there when they were announcing that second death. And we actually did a ride along in Wilton, and we'll have that coming up a little bit later in the show. We went out to Dillard Road, which is still closed, but they did take us out there to see what it looks like. I want to go ahead, though, and get to meteorologist Carly Gomez now, because we are already starting to see the winds, the rain moving in. Carly, just down when I was in Wilton, the winds were crazy.
Yeah, they are very strong, especially ahead of that front there as its system starts moving and now pushing past I-5, now making its way into areas of Sacramento and eventually starting to push east. We are seeing some of the heavier rain coming in as we start moving in the next 5-6 hours or so, but it's the wind event because of this bomb cyclone that is the bigger danger. With oversaturated soils already from the New Year's Eve event, now more rain, the winds are going to cause a lot of toppled trees as well as some power lines, and that's a big concern for a lot of people with emergency services. Take a look at the bomb cyclone, very tightly wound here. This is basically a bomb cyclone is when it drops 24 millibars in pressure in 24 hours. It could even drop more than that, but it's a tightly wound system. On the East Coast, they call these nor'easters, and we see a lot of that rain associated with it being pulled in from an atmospheric river. That's that Pineapple Express over Hawaii we often talk about. A lot of watches and warnings in effect, from a flood watch, winter storm warning for snow later on tonight into tomorrow, and also strong winds in the valley. Those are being covered by the flood in the green there, but we are seeing a wind advisory also in effect until tomorrow. Winds anywhere from about 20 to 30 miles per hour coming in out of the south-southeast. We've seen some of the gusts as high already as 40 miles per hour, expected to top even as high as 70 by late tonight. Current temperatures very warm in the low 60s tonight, and we will expect them to start dropping off into those mid-50s overnight. We'll talk more about this bomb cyclone coming up.
All right, thanks, Carly. And I do want to remind you again, we have a whole list of resources that can help you weather that incoming storm. All you have to do is just text STORM to 916-321-3310. We will send you everything straight to your phone so that you are prepared. Because it's been a dark start to 2023 for people living in Clarksburg. The New Year's Eve storm left many there without power, and that's still the case even tonight. Our Alicia Machado is live in Clarksburg. Alicia, is there any word yet on when the lights could be back on?
Good evening, Alex. Unfortunately, PG&E says right now they can't access this area due to flooding. They need their crews to be able to come in here safely in order to restore power poles, so that estimated restoration is still to be determined tonight. But let me show you one of the reasons why. There are currently 4 power poles that are down in the area of Clarksburg, including this one here on Clarksburg Road. If you follow me, you can see this massive tree behind me. I estimate that this is about a 60-foot tree that fell into one power pole right along one of the heavily traveled roads here, Clarksburg Road, that is currently shut down right now. I'll let you take a closer look here at this tree as it is currently on to this road here and onto this power line. Around 900 residents are without power and have been since the night of December 31st. We spoke with a local here who is without power, but thankfully they have a backup generator for their home that they've been utilizing. Take a listen to what they're doing tonight.
There's the concern of trees. There's trees down. There's a lot of power poles down in the area, so trees are somewhat concerning. But really just trying to put stuff away that's gonna blow away.
Again, those trees and this rain, a concern for residents who are out here in this area after 4 days without power. The question is, will this round of wind and rain play a role in how things move going forward? We will have more news on that tonight, coming up on Late News Tonight at 11.
All right, Alicia, thank you. And we know that SMUD has been working around the clock to help pick up the pieces from the New Year's Eve storm. And now they're preparing for a new round. Our John Bartel spent the day with them as they get ready. We'll have this after the break. Okay, so we are already getting reports of new power outages in Sacramento as hundreds of SMUD customers are still in the dark. John Bartel is live in Southland Park, where SMUD crews are at work. John?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess out here in this area. We're right off Land Park Drive, Southland Park Drive, that is. Got a bunch of trees down here. This one landed right on top of this truck here. It's been hanging out in the street. They did their best to clean this up here, but take a look down the street. You can just see there is a line of a lot of these workers out here trying to fix the down power lines, the power poles that have been broken, just like this one. And the problem is actually right up over on the other side of this house. I don't know if you can see that, those lights up there. Those are power crews working hard here. Now, I had spent the day with SMUD here, and they took us to several different areas. They had crews out there trying to help people get a lot of the emergency stuff they want. Now, I've got a lot of questions. We'll walk down here as we go, just show you all the work down here, but I've got some questions on how does SMUD do their priority? How do they prioritize which houses to go to? Well, it really just works like this. Essentially, what they're doing first is they're going to try to get those down power lines, the ones that are hot. They're going to get those off the ground. Then they're going to go make sure that all the hospitals have power. Then they make sure that the electric drain pumps are working so they can move that water. Finally, then they'll move over to the residential areas. And at that point, they're going to try to get just the biggest number of people they can. So they're going to fix the easy problems first and then go to these hard problems like what's happening here. Just to give you an idea, when a power pole goes down, it can take upwards of 8 hours to fix that thing. And when the power does come on, if you notice that your neighbors have power like they do across the street here, you may want to, SMUD suggests that go out to your electrical box and check your breaker before you call in there. But we got a lot going on out here, Alex.
All right, John, thank you so much. And still to come, a look at what's being done to help keep levees in place and why events like this push them to the limits. Tonight, the California Office of Emergency Service is getting ready for what they say could be one of the worst storm series to hit the state in the last 5 years. The governor has issued a statewide emergency, making it easier to get resources into place.
These kinds of events can trigger mudslides and significant debris flow, so be ready to evacuate as needed. We have dispatched flood fighting materials at 49 sites throughout the state.
And crews are still cleaning up downed trees and branches from the last storm. CHP is urging people to stay off the roads tonight. If you do choose to go out, they say there's only so much that they can do. And all eyes are on the levee system tonight as the storm rolls in. Our Andy Judson takes a look at the effort that crews are making just to make those last-minute repairs.
As a massive storm hits California, officials are concerned about specific portions of our levee system.
I think the most vulnerable places in California right now are rural levees.
Since the 1990s, billions have been invested to ensure California's levees function properly.
It's these kinds of events where we know it puts the system to the test.
But levees in rural areas have different requirements.
They are not required to meet the same standards as the levees that protect our more urban communities.
If you head to the national database of levees, you can find urban and rural levees by county. And in the early 1900s, when California developed rights and laws about water, they developed what's called reclamation districts.
Those local reclamation districts do have 24/7 patrols of those levee systems.
And if they detect water seepage, they work with both the Flood Operations Center and county to get help to fix it.
A representative from a local reclamation board posted on Facebook today that they have been working around the clock to repair levee breaches and breaks before the storm hits. So now that the storm is here, we will see how those levees hold, of course. And we have that national levee database link on our website right now on our resources page. Make sure you head to abc10.com. And we have a whole list of resources that can help you weather this incoming storm. All you have to do is just text the word storm to 916-321-3310. We will send everything straight to your phone so that you can be prepared. Want to get another check of our weather here with Carly. Carly, bomb cyclone. I keep hearing this.
Yeah.
What does it mean? Like, that sounds mildly concerning.
It is. And honestly, take a look at this. This system doesn't look nice. It's a pretty nasty system. It actually started developing about 4 or 5 days ago closer to the Hawaiian Islands, starting to intensify as it drugged up all of this warm air. The Pineapple Express, the atmospheric river from the Hawaiian Islands, and continued to shift its way north. As it did so, began clashing with some polar Arctic air mass. And that caused this to rapidly intensify into a bomb cyclone, which means it's dropping at least 24 millibars in pressure in 24 hours. Now hitting the west coast, moving into California right now, we are seeing strong winds ahead of that front, which is the worst part about this. The stronger the intensity of the system, the stronger the winds. And yes, we are getting rain along with it, but of course the winds will be the big concern for damage. Along with the rain, sure, but it's the downed trees, the down power lines because of already saturated soils from New Year's Eve storm. we are looking at that potential to cause major power outages continuing. Looking at Chico all the way down toward I-5, you're seeing the system starting to move in along I-5, continuing to pass its way toward the east through the overnight hours. It's not very quick. It's somewhat slow moving, but not as slow as we saw in that New Year's Eve storm. That one really hovered over us for quite some time. Now, understanding low pressure systems, a lot of low pressure systems, honestly, a hurricane, that's a low pressure system. It's just a degree way higher than a typical storm. Now, the low pressure system is known also as the eye of the storm. Low pressure equals higher wind speeds. The lower it is, the higher the winds. The lower pressure equals also a more dangerous storm system. So we have dropped quickly. The bomb cyclone is also known as a bombogenesis, again dropping 24 millibars in 24 hours. That causes it to intensify rapidly. But when you add in an atmospheric river and the storm begins dumping a lot of rain, well, that's cause for dangerous flooding in our area. Here's the first of this series of atmospheric rivers headed our way. This one starting to come in now, and then the next one from Friday into Saturday morning, the next one Saturday night into Sunday, and then another one Monday into Tuesday, and then finally a small break, but we had Wednesday to Thursday, and then another one out there by Saturday into Sunday. So a lot of systems headed our way. Now, the excessive flood warning, we do have a flash flood watch in effect causing excessive flooding. That could also create potential for mudslides, as well as looking at debris flow potentials. Burn scars, an area of concern where there was previous fires, and then rising rivers, creeks, and streams. That's also something to be careful for. Watch near that we don't see that inundating our neighborhoods. It's going to cause poor drainage for the neighborhood, so make sure you're steering away from a lot of those areas and making sure at least your portion of the street, maybe there's a storm drain there, you can make sure that that's clear. High wind warning is in effect, causing damaging winds. Anywhere from about 40 to 70 mile-per-hour winds could cause those down trees and power lines. We're also looking at heavy snow coming in from really tonight into tomorrow. 2 to 3 feet is expected through the weekend, above 6,000 feet, with gusty winds creating whiteout conditions. That'll be for the weekend. Now, we're also seeing a lot of that strong wind pushing through and creating some thunderstorm chances as scattered showers continue to shift through from Thursday into Friday. And then we're also seeing, again, another set of storm systems continuing into your weekend. Let's talk about that 10-day forecast for you. Really, temperatures going to be pretty moderate, right in those mid to upper 50s through the weekend. We'll continue to see rain. Yes, that's right, every single day of the week through next week. We'll be right back.
I spent the day with the Wilton Fire Protection District. They are a volunteer fire department, and they say they respond to about 1 call on average a night. But on New Year's Eve, they had over 20 calls just from people stranded in floods. So I went out to Dillard Road, the area where they are still recovering cars. You just saw a lot of people getting off of 99, trying to get through. They came to Dillard Road, and that's where they got stuck.
They would just pull off Highway 99 trying to get out. Their phones would tell them this is the way to get around the road closure, and they would just come off into the flood water. Day of the event of the flooding, dozens and dozens of rescues in the flood water.
Just in this area alone?
Just in this area alone.
And there were several cars that had went through, so it looked like it was safe for me to go through. The car stalled, and it felt like it was actually floating here, so the car filled up within about 10 minutes. It got up to the seats, both the seats. So then we got stuck. Yeah, we got stuck here New Year's Eve about 11:45, and the Wilton Fire Department came and they helped us out, and they, got us. We actually were standing up there.
Best advice if somebody does get in a situation where they're driving down Dillard Road or a similar road, they get into a situation where their car is flooded, they're trapped inside, what should people do?
Stop where they're at, call 911, and do not continue forward thinking it's going to get shallower.
That's right. And the Wilton Fire Protection District told me that many of the people that needed to be rescued just didn't know the area. Now the firefighters are preparing for another round of storms and flooding, and they have upped their staff. They have more resources like food, blankets, and water. And the firefighters I spoke with today say that their biggest concern right now is all that wind that's moving in. Now, I also stopped to talk to a 50-year Wilton resident who was prepping his property, and he was telling me that wind is also his biggest concern.
North wind, so it knocked them to the south. Today we have a south wind. It's going to knock them to the road. If I don't put these braces up, we will probably have, 5, 10 trees down, see?
Yeah, you see John reinforcing his trees right there. I mean, those winds are really picking up. And it was windy just when we were out there today.
Right. They've already picked up. We've already started seeing 20 to 35 mile per hour winds. The gusts could get as high as 70 miles per hour later on tonight, peaking anywhere between 9 and 11 p.m. Take a look at our radar. The rain starting to arrive across most of the valley now across I-5, but look toward Modesto. You see a bulk system there pushing some heavy downpours that way. So if you're in Modesto, get ready. You're about to get hit hard with that rain. Now the winds are currently anywhere from 20 to almost 30 miles per hour in the valley, south-southeast. That's where they're coming from. But we will see the gusts even as high again as 40 to 70 miles per hour. Please be ready for it. We are looking at a lot headed our way. Some of the peak gusts already at 40 miles per hour. Temperatures are in the low 60s right now, and tonight the heavy rain does continue into the overnight hours with mid-50s out there for the temperature.
All right, Carly, thank you. We appreciate it. Remember, do your part to keep yourself safe. A lot of people are working hard to keep all of us safe, so if you do need to travel, do it safely. We'll see you back here at 11. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.